Welcome to the Department, Connecticut. Real reality TV. Today on the Department, Connecticut, we're going back, way back, as we look at the history of the Bristol Fire Department. So, here's the man who runs the show at the Bristol Fire Department, Chief John Posey.
Hi, I'm Bristol Fire Chief John Posey, and welcome to the Department, Bristol, Connecticut. This is the first of a series of programs that will give you a look into the past, present, and future of the Bristol Fire Department. Throughout this series, you will hear from each and every member of the Bristol Fire Department 2004, as well as from some highly noted fire industry enthusiasts from throughout the Nutmeg State. Today's program will take a look at the history of the Bristol Fire Department. Our own Bristol firefighter and in-house historian, Captain Dana Jandro, shares his treasure trove of video footage with all of us as we look at how Bristol's bravest dealt with disasters of the day. We'll be right back with Dana Jandro and a history lesson about the Bristol Fire Department.
Northeastern Fire Associates are your fire apparatus specialists in southern New England. As a proud distributor of extreme duty fire equipment made by Marion Rescue and Fire Apparatus, Northeastern Fire Associates are your go-to fire apparatus dealer. With Marion's 100 years of building quality products and the professionals at Northeastern Fire, you can count on the best in sales and service. Call Northeastern Fire today.
Martin Lavero Contractors Incorporated, paving the way throughout Connecticut since 1941. Call Martin Lavero for your commercial concrete and paving work. When you need the best, call 860-589-7579. Martin Lavero Contractors Incorporated, Bristol, Connecticut.
Hi, I'm Captain Dana Jandro of the Bristol Fire Department. Now, with over 150 years of history behind us, our department is looking forward to the future. That future is much different than the past. The city of Bristol has been blessed with great men and more recently women who have and will continue to take immense personal pride in protecting our great city from traditional fire emergencies such as house and structural fires to the unthinkable, threats of nuclear, biological, and chemical attacks here on our homeland. On today's show, you'll be treated to some great stories from some of Bristol's firefighting legends, like 91-year-old John Greisner, Steve Zaremski, Jack LaFrance, Francis Murphy, and longtime Fire Board member Carlisle Hat Barnes. So enjoy the program as we show you a little bit of Bristol, Connecticut's proud history.
Well, to begin with, when I started off, we didn't have any uniforms. We had their boots, we had our own boots and everything, and a raincoat, no helmet, so, and no mask. When you went into a fire, you had to go in and breathe it. Like today, you've got the helmets, you've got the mask, and you got all kinds of waterproof stuff, which we never had in them days. So, made quite a difference. And then, like I say, we didn't have the water, but today, all our trucks got their tanks and tanks of water there, which makes a big difference when you get to a fire.
That's where really I started chasing fires while I was in college. But I was always, I've always been interested in firefighting and fires. I think because it's in the blood. My great-great-grandfather and two other guys started the Bristol Fire Department back in 1853. And he and the other two guys raised $2,000 and bought a lot of hose, and that was the first department that was here, and something like that. So I guess it's always been in the blood. But after I got out of college, I was lucky to get on the fire board here, and I was there for 36 years. And had a lot of fun, chased a lot of fires. And I had a a line tap that the telephone company, I was able to get through the telephone company, so that when anybody called the fire department, I could hear it the same time they did. It was on a loudspeaker system, came into one part of the house, I had an intercom, so my wife got so used to be going in the middle of the night that she sometimes slept through it. But I get up and go to most fires, particularly house fires. And the guys appreciated one of the commissioners showing up. And, once in a while I was able to be helpful because I had a big flashlight that I helped, the spotlight that I helped with, when they needed some more light somewhere. And I had carried a lot of equipment in my car too, particularly for grass fires. So sometimes I used to beat them to the punch if it was closer to my house.
1962, I came on as a substitute in 1961, and we worked the subs then, and then we worked our way up to the main list of hoping to get on the fire department. And when I worked, there was only 4 of us took the test, 4 substitutes, and 3 of us got it. Now they're going by the hundreds trying to get on the fire department. It was amazing. But we worked 56 hours a week, and nobody seemed to want the job then. The work was pretty good then, and a lot of people were working at new departure, but we just had our hearts set with the fire department. That's what we wanted. Then I came on as a sub of the Bristol Fire Department, and then I made it to a regular, and I got on the old ladder truck at headquarters. That's where I started off down there. And that was during the time of redevelopment in the city. And that's what it seemed like. I was on the old 3rd Platoon. And it seemed like that the 3rd Platoon, we were getting hit so bad with so many fires. It was just because of redevelopment, I guess. I don't know. But it seems like we got hit bad. We had so many deaths that year. It was terrible. I was a brand new guy on the job. I came on and I saw all these things right away. I got just hit real hard right away. But I was with all the old timers there, which been through a lot more than I have.
Well, I started right after I got out of the service. I came out of the department in 1946. I started to work at Engine Company number 5 on Farmington Avenue, which has since been closed down. And I spent 38 years on the Bristol Fire Department. In 1942, I went into the United States Army Air Force, and I served overseas in the China-Burma India Theater of Operation as a crew chief on a C-47 transport plane. And we were transporting supplies, gas, troops for both the Chinese and American and British Army. When I came back from the service, I decided to join the Bristol Fire Department. We had classes, and we attended classes, and they put on 6 veterans of World War II on at that particular time.
Well, I've been gone 10 years, and it's even changed more in this past 10 years, and the training is more intense than it ever was, and since 9/11 it's even more intense than that, with biochemicals, and so yeah, it's tougher now than it ever was. It's a little more scarier than now than it was. You knew what you were getting into before. You don't know what you're getting into now. So it's much tougher for a firefighter now than it was in our day.
I'm Louise DeMars, and you're watching The Department, Connecticut.
The heritage of American LaFrance dates back more than 170 years. And today, through its parent companies, Freightliner and Daimler Chrysler, American LaFrance continues to be an industry leader in technology and innovation. From the new mid-engine Eagle pumper to a complete line of aerials, rescues, pumpers, and special response vehicles, including medium-duty ambulances, American LaFrance has invested a great deal of technical and human resources to set the standard of a premier emergency vehicle manufacturer. Further, our local dealership has committed itself to a wide range of customer support efforts to provide a true single-source experience. We want to help you solve the challenges of your next emergency vehicle purchase. Call us today at 800-453-6967. At American LaFrance, we will listen, learn, and lead.
Everybody knows Applewoods is the first choice when you want to take your family, friends, and business associates out for casual dining. Applewoods is open 24 hours a day, serving the finest fare in the Bristol area. So whether it's Sunday mornings with the family or after an evening out on the town, come on over to Applewoods on Route 6 in Bristol.
Tulloch Fence is your link to security. Bill Tulloch and his hard-working fence and decking professionals provide the best when it comes to sales, service, installation, or the repair of your fence or deck. So, don't leave your fence and decking needs to luck. Leave them to Tulloch, Fence and Decking of Bristol.
My first experience for the big fires was back in 1927. But people very seldom remember that day, when the whole South Mountain from Terryville right down to Lake Compound was all ablaze. They didn't have the houses like they have now. And I was 14 years old, and I helped the state, and the state gave me 50 cents for fighting that fire. I stayed all day and night with them. That was one of the fires. Then, when you go to all the other fires, I'll tell you back in the older days, which goes back to where we had a lot of farms in them days where they had hay, which hardly any of them know today. But when you talk about the fall, where they have brush fires, in the fall, where they used to put the hay in the barns, we used to get the hay barns on fire. And that days, they'd be day and night pitching hay. And I had a laugh. When the new guys there, when they came on, they didn't know how to pitch hay, and they were tearing their stomachs out until I showed them how to pitch hay.
What I remember in general, I can remember going in, we had this drugstore fire on Main Street, on the old Main Street, North Main Street in the town here. And it was in a January night. Oh, was it cold. We went in, the drugstore was going on there. And that was a time when all this aerosol spray was coming out. For all the women there spraying their hair, they put in there. And we were crawling in there on our hands and knees and going into this building. And all these aerosol cans were going up. It was like we were being shot at. They were flying like missiles all over the drugstore. And we're trying to go in to find the fire down and back. And that was a tough time. We finally got to knock the fire down. But there were missiles all over. Cans were exploding all over the place. It was quite a thing. And then that same week we had another one in an aerosol can. We had it in Denali's old paint store in the Foundling Plaza down there. We went down there and we had a fire in there, and we had like missiles going off in there too, with these paint cans exploding all over the place. It was like we were getting shot at. And then I can remember at the same time, that same winter, the biggest fire I've been on since I've been at the Bristol Fire Department was the Clayton Manufacturing up there on Union Street. Up there, there were the 3 apartments there. Now picture it. It was a big wooden factory up there full of tires, barrels of alcohol, and it was a scissors factory. And I was driving the old emergency truck then, and I pulled up there with the deputy chief, and I had to take the door down with the deputy, and we got in there, and I crawled in there to see what we had. I came back out, and I told the deputy, I said, Chief, I think we got 2 fires in here. We fought that fire for 2 days up there. It was a general alarm fire. And that was the time we just got the 1962 Maxim ladder truck. It was a 100-footer. And it's the first time we've ever used the new, at that time, was a ladder truck. It was a convertible ladder truck. And we set that thing up, and the first time we've ever used the thing down there. And we used the old one too, the 1941. And our trucks were convertibles in those days. Most of them were convertibles. And let me tell you, coming back, going to a call and coming back in those convertibles, you froze during the winter, and you got soaked in the summers and the rest of the year. So it was quite an experience for me getting on and getting all these fires.
Probably the biggest fire that I can remember was a new departure at General Motors up on Chippens Hill. I was the deputy chief on duty that day, and we had a very bad accident on Middle Street and Redstone Hill Road. There was 3 people who were very badly injured. We had to extricate one of the people, and I had a station wagon. I transported one member of that crash to the Bristol Hospital. While I was at the Bristol Hospital, a call came in for new departure. I drove up to new departure. I checked with the guard at the gate, and he said he thought the fire was out. So I said, well, do you mind if I check it out? He said, no. So I drove around the back, and it wasn't out. It was coming out from all sides of the building. Fire had started somewhere from a grinding machine, and it was carried by the oils and compounds all over the building. Turned out the fire was so big that it took 1 week for the firemen to work there and stand by while we were taking the building apart. And it turned out it was a $10 million cleanup fire. And there was 40 sprinkler heads that went off at that fire. And we couldn't turn the sprinklers down until we made sure that every bit of the fire was out. So the pollution damage was very bad there.
Big fire on Union Street, though, I sure do remember. Because I was on it was funny, I was working in the office and a call came in for a grass fire. And that was in Riverside Avenue, right in back of where we are now. So I jumped in the car and went over to the grass fire, which was nothing really. And on the way back, I heard the other call come in on Union Street. And so I went up there, and I was there before the equipment. When I walked around and back, I happened to have a camera with me, and the whole back of the building was all ablaze. And this is a major fire. And so I got lots of wonderful pictures, and they got into the press that night, and it was the fire, I guess, started around 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's funny you've asked me about the Union Street fire. I was already retired, but I could see the smoke from my house and see everything there. So I said, well, I'll go up there and see what they're doing. So I went up there, and the police wouldn't let me through. I said, firefighter. They said, go in. So I went in. I took there. I didn't have no uniform or anything. I was just in civilian clothes. And they said, John, go ahead. Give me a hand. That was Kelly, who was chief, or Basil, I don't know. So I held the hose. They took my picture there. They said, look, a 77-year-old man fighting a fire. So I helped them fight that fire.
Hey, I'm Jack LaFrance, retired Deputy Chief, Bristol Fire Department, 38 years of service, and you're watching The Department, Connecticut.
I was running down the road doing 80 miles an hour. Drive on in, over to First Impressions in Bristol. At First Impressions with Donna, you get the latest and greatest look. Call Donna today, and you'll discover that hairstylist you can finally call your own.
At Blast Fitness, we're dedicated to giving you a very personal, non-intimidating, and comfortable atmosphere. A place free of judgment where everyone belongs. It's our full-time commitment to provide you with the basic building blocks for living a healthier, more active lifestyle. Visit us at our club in Newington or come on over to our brand new club in Bristol at 99 Farmington Avenue. Or check us out at the web at blastfit.com.
Dented, scratched, smashed? If so, come to Top Gun Automotive, the top guns of auto body paint and repair. Owner Ron Heinzman and his longtime staff share over 30 years of experience in collision work and custom detailing. With over 13 years in the same location and not leaving anytime soon, you can count on Top Gun to be there for you. Insurance work is welcome and 24-hour towing service is available. Top Gun Automotive, 515 Broad Street, next door to Redmond's Campers. For top quality and top service, choose Top Gun Automotive.
As you may know, E1 is the leading worldwide manufacturer of fire rescue vehicles, offering the most extensive line of emergency vehicles available from a single manufacturer today. In addition to aerial ladders and aerial platforms, E1 manufactures pumpers, tankers, rescues, industrial fire trucks, and aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicles.
This next segment of our program deals with our department leadership over the years, the chiefs of the Bristol Fire Department.
I'm going to tell you, when I first started, I went there, Morgan Farrell was the chief at that time. And if anyone knew Mayor Farrell, he would wake up the Atlantic Atlantic Philadelphia, they're the baseball team, as a catcher. But he took it, that's how good he was. If he took over as a chief, I was working at the Central House that day. He went home for dinner. And we waited for him to come back. No, they called in and said, Morgan Farrell is dead. He went home for dinner, he dropped dead at the dinner table. So then they had Orrin Porter, who was a deputy chief. He was a high one. He made sure that you knew how to fight a fire. So they had him, and Graham took the test. Well, Graham beat him out, and Graham started it, the next chief. Well, I worked a good many years with Graham. He was very good. He knew he was a college man, and he went to college to be a doctor. But, well, he turned out to be chief of the fire department. I'll tell you that sort of thing. And after him came my good friend there, Kelly. Kelly and I went on at 36 together. He was one of the few that was still living yet. And he became the chief. No, it was Basil. Basil came on as deputy chief. Very good. And I broke Basil in when he was a young fella. And he became chief, same as Posey. Posey there, Chief Posey there, he became chief now. So I worked under 5 chiefs. And the all darn trouble is I live in the wall.
My biggest change in the Bristol Fire Department, it came too late for me. I just retired 3 months ago. It's John Posey, Chief John Posey. John Posey came in. I've never, in all the years, in 43 years I've been on the fire department, I've ever seen a change like I've seen with Chief John Posey. He's brought us up to date with everything. Our firehouses are up to date. He gets you things that you need right away. He takes the word of his officers that this is what they need. He gets it right away. No matter how he tries, we got new air packs. The whole fire department has been named new air packs. We got 2 new trucks that have just come in. We got new hose. We got hazmat material. We've gotten anything we need to keep the firehouses up. That is the biggest change I've seen in 43 years I've been on. I've never seen a chief come on here that's done so much in such a short time as John Posey.
The Brotherhood of Firefighters took a huge loss on that September morning 2001 while saving so many lives. We must never forget their sacrifice.
I was in a dentist's chair in Farmington, and the girl said, you know, a plane just hit the World Trade Center. And I said, oh, you know, it must have been an accident. Excuse me. And then she said another plane hit. And I said, oh my God, that is no accident, you know. And when I got out in my truck and turned on the radio, they said one of the building had collapsed. I said, oh my God, all those firefighters, they're gonna die. And sure enough, because they thought that they could put that damn thing out. You know, that's their job, and they were gonna save as many people as they could. Some of those guys got way up in that tower, way up before it collapsed, you know, because the first one didn't collapse until like an hour and 20 minutes. And some of them got right up to the 70th floor, and then, boy, tough. Lost the heart of their department. You know, now there's 2 departments, the guys before 9/11 and the guys after 9/11.
I think what was amazed everybody was that the buildings just collapsed. That you can picture a plane going into a building, or this has happened before, but to have the whole building fall because of that, this is, of course, I don't know if that's ever happened before, not to my knowledge. You know, to have the whole thing collapse of that size, have that mushroom cloud, it was unbelievable.
I couldn't believe how those, when everybody was leaving the building at the time to get away, these firemen were going in, and they were passing each other on the way in. And I think 9/11 has done an awful lot for the firemen of this country. It's made a lot of people realize that these firemen put their life on the line every day, They may sit around 1 minute, but the next minute they got a very bad fire going where they could lose their lives. And it was quite a thing in my mind to remember what had happened there. I'm retired Deputy Fire Chief Steven Zarensky, and you're watching the Department, Connecticut.
Northeastern Fire Associates are your fire apparatus specialists in southern New England. As a proud distributor of extreme duty fire equipment made by Marion Rescue and Fire Apparatus, Northeastern Fire Associates are your go-to fire apparatus dealer. With Marion's 100 years of building quality products and the professionals at Northeastern Fire, you can count on the best in sales and service. Call Northeastern Fire today.
Bristol Pawn and Trading Post at 475 Farmington Avenue is where you want to go to find what you need. Bristol Pawn and Trading Post has your favorite games, car stereos, speakers, and hey, check out those throwback jerseys. So come on over to Bristol Pawn and Trading Post in Bristol. Bristol 10-Pin is your best bet for a great bowling experience. Visit us for midnight bowling, sign up for a league, check out our pro shop, and have a great time playing America's favorite family sport. Check out the Sports Rock adjacent to the lanes for entertainment and cocktails. That's Bristol 10-Pin, 177 Farmington Avenue in Bristol. If you want the best pizza in Bristol, let me introduce you to my friend.
Hi, I'm Marta. Welcome to Mike's Pizza. Here you guys go and enjoy.
Mike's Pizza, always fresh and always the best. Stop in today and visit with Mary and Theodora for aging furniture and such at Antiquities in Forestville Center.
That wraps up this segment of the Department, Bristol, Connecticut. Hope you enjoyed sharing some of our history. We'll see you next time. I'm Bristol Fire Chief John Posey. Thanks for watching.
About 7 days, we just came home. Our smoke alarm, the alarm went off. My husband went downstairs and saw some smoke come up. This is Joe Archambault. This is my husband, Tony. And we called the fire department. They were here within seconds.
Great. Pretty fast, huh?
Yeah, they are. They're great.
Great. You look great. You did good. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Department, Connecticut. Real reality TV. Today on the Department, Connecticut, we're going back, way back, as we look at the history of the Bristol Fire Department. So, here's the man who runs the show at the Bristol Fire Department, Chief John Posey.
Hi, I'm Bristol Fire Chief John Posey, and welcome to the Department, Bristol, Connecticut. This is the first of a series of programs that will give you a look into the past, present, and future of the Bristol Fire Department. Throughout this series, you will hear from each and every member of the Bristol Fire Department 2004, as well as from some highly noted fire industry enthusiasts from throughout the Nutmeg State. Today's program will take a look at the history of the Bristol Fire Department. Our own Bristol firefighter and in-house historian, Captain Dana Jandro, shares his treasure trove of video footage with all of us as we look at how Bristol's bravest dealt with disasters of the day. We'll be right back with Dana Jandro and a history lesson about the Bristol Fire Department.
Northeastern Fire Associates are